Hello and welcome. Oh, I also just realized this line almost works with this line. Oh, look at that. That's sunshine over there. But hi, my name's Jenna, and I'm going to be reading to you today from an open book end. So I'm going to start with a poem called Sedentary. It is a very short poem, but that's okay. Sometimes there's some short ones, sometimes there's some long ones, and we read them all, or we read parts of all of them once, at least a little bit. So buckle in. Oh, there goes the sun, and hope you enjoy the ride. Here we go. Sedentary. No more questing, no more adventure. Sedentary sets in, and we're left to our dying. Chapter 3. So I'm going to preface this. I don't know what this particular poem is, but it's been like a bit of a rough book for me to read. It's been almost 12 years since I've published this. Okay, 10 and a half. I'll give you that. But, okay, 11 and a half. Math. But there's, lots changed in that amount of time. But here we go. Feeling on the constant verge of falling in love, yet standing back and watching isn't appealing. Seeing it from the sidelines shows the disgust, losing one's ambition, hopes, and dreams, picking up the loved ones, every passion and greens, caring about anyone or anything else, dropping the balls over and over again. The in too deep twists one's whole what could have been into only you and me. Humanity falls out of romantic love after the painful battle with heartbreak, the incessant longings for another being, and the harshly wrought battle for autonomy. Humanity takes its passions and casts it away from romantic love. We, collectively, have decided no more heartbreak, no more head over heels, no more lies, no cheating, no more obsession, no more insanity. Spousal partners are no longer the answer to life. Love is ever alive, but in terms of global love, in terms of finding people for hours and days to sync with, integrally, marriage is dead. Okay, I will say that little last part, it's interesting to see that was written so long ago because I feel like 2025, I'm seeing a lot of stuff online of this is the year of being single is so cool. So, do it for you. That's not the next poem. It's called An After. But that is a poem I could write right about now. All right, should I do it? Okay, this one's on the fly. Somebody write this down. Okay, do it for you. Do it because you know you need to. Do it because you feel it from within. Do it because you are the reason. Feel the inspiration bubble from within. Write it down, live it out. Make these words matter, make them count. Bring joy, love, laughter, and life into this new year. Bring it up, bring it here. Bring all things, bring them near. Oh, no one heard it. Oh no. I have to ask somebody to go in and catch that poem. Oh yeah, what did we just call that? I forgot already. Do it for you, maybe? That's a new poem. Okay, so here's an after. Oops. Popped full of pop music, set to stand the night. Not enough nicotine to hold me tight. I was gonna say, I've never had nicotine before. Okay. Silent, secret addict. Shirts stained white. Heroin heartbeat, dozing. Heavy head, heated mind. Tin-sensated with trees time. Laying on the floor, alabastered and plastered. Wild and neat. Makes stomach sick. Heart beat weak. Radio turns dusk to ashes. And I'm watching my little ladybell dog on a workout. Yeah, I'm talking about I put a new workout mat on the floor and she decided that's her little spot. And I'm like, good for you, girlfriend. Excuse me. Importances change. No text messages, no phone calls. All but abandoned the idea of social media. Interruptions, but by friends? A night's essay writing turned into 3 a.m. pinging back and forth the constant attention the internet requests. When one of the priorities in life used to be keeping his social media me, now the opposite ensues. Finding as much time as possible to hide offline, abandon the phone, in vehicles, in living rooms, save for a time, check every once and again, or buy a watch. Phones, simply a phase humanity is going through. I'm going to put this one online somewhere because I think people will maybe like it. Dancing in the moonlight. Check your publishing date. Before I write on the internet what I just said on the internet. 2017. Okay, fine. 9.5 years. It's really 2017? This Okay. Anyways. Murky moon followed the sun. I hadn't, and still haven't, seen the stars in days. Remember back to the overly cloudy, hazy, hot sky that greeted as the sun set high. Hours to go still, yet the reflection, red blazed the river, as in the glow that comes from peeling, fading. But we had hours left to go, and journeys untold. But were they created with the correct you, or just to stand in for who I thought you were, who I wish you could have been? From when you'd populate my mind, but that wasn't you. That is who I made you up to be. Evergreen carving the pond's fountain. Up in the morning, still, more clouds and creating a cold September. I kept staring at the turned off screen of the computer, lusting after it, as if it had all the answers to insomnia, under the biggest moon I'd ever seen, as sunset on the first day of my period, on the last day of being 21. I'm going to be 22 tomorrow. And you? I didn't know what to expect from tonight, almost something as scary as being blanked with the mindset that I was in. This was the night that I figure modeled and thought about my past and why I was so devoted to my pledge of abstinence. Then figured out it was because I was blanking myself when I was younger, because of what I knew my judgment, even as what seemed to be a full functioning adult at 15, was completely flawed. What if my judgment at 21 was the same? What if I would look back at 21 and say how dumb I was? Fun fact, I do! I simply could not have that. So to abstinence I stick for a little while. Harder than hot glue. I will protect you from you. And even later, at 22. What does is the imagery and smells, shag green carpet, remind me of the 70s, yellow chair, or maybe it was a couch, patterned after things my parents still own. You remind me of the 70s. Taste, your tongue naturally tastes the way my uncle's breath smells, who, of course, reminds me of the 70s. But I know I've been there, treaded the garage floors from that 70s show in the Dave Cave, where there used to be ravens. I promise you, I've lived there, and that's where you and your smells came from. Of course I love it there. But all this leads down to the last day I spent as a 21-year-old, where I continued my abstinence streak to a perfect T and still managed to go skinny dipping. I knew the imagery before we committed the decision. White bodies illuminated by moonlight, sliding through the black abyss of water. Careful, calculated strokes with arms and legs, catered to my induction of asthma by water. When we arrived to the fountain, the sound of water's drops pounding down around reminded me of days. Which days? With rain or amusement parks. You tried to hold me and kiss me, but that nearly drowned me. You let me go, and we stroked back to shore. Because intensely beautiful imagery can be captured without falling madly in love. And that because you can fall in love with anyone. I mostly wanted to do this so I could say I went skinny dipping at university on the last night I was 21, because that is how my life story goes.
Headphone. Seeing dirty sandaled motifed shoes, always wear your socks, never be past due, and never know what on earth to do. Clueless, aren't you? But I'm making a 5-year plan, and this song sounds like a ringtone. Have you noticed the trend? 2014 has gone back to actual ringtones for cell phone calls. No longer Miss New Booty or your favorite pop song, but iPhones set the standard for making phone calls come in like they used to. But still, the flip phones, original 8-bit rings to the tone of classic music play, slider phones. How do you type without keys? Lack of seeing or reasoning for phones or drones. We will know soon enough. Just return home. Grasping for air. I felt it, if only for the briefest of seconds. But I felt it. Love. That overwhelming feeling that makes it feel like drowning and flying all at the same time. The thrill and essence, blood's life, and reason for making it all worthwhile. Trying. Love. Overwhelmed by feelings and emotions. Feeling alive again. Feeling wild again. But I know why people do things that only make sense when dying, because they're held by love. They're held by a force that makes no sense, but without it, everything is indifference. The clean, orderly logic that we apply to everyday life isn't neat enough. It doesn't account for overwhelming emotions. It doesn't account for any of these factors. Only blah, the monotony, the mundane. Loveless life, I love you not. Hey, welcome. Aw, thank you. Washington Square. I wanted to say this felt like heaven, with the tint of light from Indiana's first mall, but heaven would make you think of death, her death, and I didn't want to ruin the moment of pure blissed out 90s mall love with noble Roman's pizza, breadsticks, cheese sauce, and Coca-Cola with the thoughts of her passing, although that was all we had talked about all day. Now, finally, I am remembering childhood completely. Textures. When I see images, I can remember how things felt, tactile to the touch. When I see me with small animals or holding tiny babies, and know
Or am I imagining everything, glancing at the floor, remembering it from years ago, sunlight glinting across the tiles? How can I remember this? Is this even a memory? A misfiring of neurons touching their synapses in such a way as to agitate the firing squads of dendrites, sending me right? Like when I put a query on my brain, find major concept of life, and pull it back. Only three. This isn't asking for what is going on in me, just dreaming realities. This next poem is called 2720 Cherokee, but I'm going to take a quick break before I start reading it. I'll be back. Tomate worms with their unicorn horns speaks the languages of caterpillars. I'm just listening to the build in the mountaintops of magic in the yoga art studio apartment, ceilings, homings, spandex on Thursdays, paper cutting and accidents, every word, feeling, meaning, blank, blank, and it is worthy. Excuse me. Space Firecrackers, 2720, Cherokee, just hugging, building, building, keeping the dream. Layers if you don't like it, plaster over, try again. All part of the process. Wave breaker. A reverence in life, in breathing, in being, respect for plants, animals, others, glass jars, and natural living, juicing high, unique antiquing, punishable by life, layered up, ends up on insanity. As we sit sedentary and watch TV, movies, pre recorded and played endlessly, funny it is, isn't it, God? Or are we all going to die? We know you don't believe in hell, but rather channeling all the love and safety into the world. One big hug. Evil needs the words to be repeated, listening to what has been sung before into an evening sleep, hugs and kisses. Good day at school, sweetheart. After a good day, and then we disappeared. You, we, she capsulizes the importance and takeaway from the self-centeredness. It isn't me to judge right or wrong, to condemn or condone. Each viewpoint has their own valid argument. Who am I to decide? Only for me to observe, see, create a deeper understanding of both ways, not to choose. Streaming Carabiner. Skipped some. It's a long poem. I'm ready for next time. I'll jump. I'll be wild. I'll think about saying no and being safe, then running full speed, hill charges, sneezing at a rave, crowd of connectivity, copy movements, feel energy from the music, you, environment, strangers, soon to be friends. Why do humans have bodies? What is this soul they speak of? I really like this. I feel like I should have a list of all my poem lists because that's always so fun for me. But here's a poem list. Maybe I'll put that in my body book. What is it called? Yes, my darling. Yes. Jenna's lists. My list of lists. Rules to live by. Coming off August's child. Stay awesome. Be inspired. Every day is a gift. Wake up alive. Be refreshed. Breathe. Calm. Do not have babies. Children ruin a person's life. They give them another life to live. Do not date. Do not date Jay. Abstinence. Don't have blank, even when you are in a relationship. Observe. Persistence. Stay in control. Find beauty. You will never die. Spontaneity. Honesty. Clean your car. Oh God, I should still clean my car. Brush your teeth. Have mentors and friends, yet keep an observational level to see destructive tendencies or behaviors you do not want copied in yourself. Remember that you have been easily influenced by those around you. Stay skinny, stay muscular, exercise, eat healthier, keep your wits about you, think, do not drink, trust, but not blindly or desperately. Know what you want out of every day. Trace roots. Accept that even if you can't figure out where you are and how you got there, everything may not be okay. Even if you can figure those things out. Humble, quiet, listen, think. Do not tense up or stress out. Know that you are wind, stars. You do not always have to make art. Don't make shoddy works. Don't smoke. Every decision can and will affect the rest of your life. This is fleeting. This is temporary. This is transcendental. Love what is in front of you. Don't obsess. But do not forget what else remains. Act ethically always. Cyclical cycles continue continuously. With billions of people on Earth doing similar activities, variations of a schedule every day, with complete obsessive cycles, what are we doing here? Why? Humanity's brain dead. Only about instances. Life is filled with fluff. We settle constantly, throw on the emergency brake, wake up, go to school, go to work, wake up, eat. Why? Because I need to eat to live? I don't live to eat anymore. Excuse me. Physical response evokes behavior. Behavior evokes another response. Interaction. Physical. Filling time with things I don't want to do. Things other people want me to do. Wake up. Go to work. What is work? Why am I working? Job satisfaction? Life satisfaction? Satisfying what goal? 2. Wake up. Go to bed. Dream. Dream of what? Waking up into a newer reality. Am I so much happier when I dream? Or do I dream of things to come? Things I should be happy doing now. If only I could. Wake up. Single life equals happiness? No. Relationships equal happiness? No. Input data. Query. Requiring response. Request. They're always chasing me. Internet. Data search. Google. Find the meaning to life. Different to different cultures. Google. Sorry, Monty Python already found it. Whoops. Looping. Dreams. Wake up. Go to the bathroom. Why? And the yellow fluorescence, because I have to keep functioning, to keep repeating over and over again. I can't go twice because I always have to go all over again. Sleeping, living life with eyes wide closed. Constant contact, constant interact. Wake up. Missing my cell phone, longing for the internet, thinking about cell phone, phone. Where are you? My life without you, existing. Wake up. I really like that one. I'm going to post it on some pages. Thousand unsent letters. Thousand unsent letters. Imagery with postbox. Yellowed. Stuffed to the brim. Neither sent nor leaving. Sent. Old post office. Bringing but never leaving. Cup of tea, darling. Time as a color is yellow, is age, is distant, is a fresh face. "22 at 21 on 21st. 22 locations, and it's all the same place. Day. 3 cities, 3 nights, stargazing, wild and bright. Grandiose farms, change in life's eyes and wild sighs. Running rampant ballerina, stops to eat cheesy potatoes and sausages, runs, dive rolls into the next room, shuts the door, and flees, shrieking into the wilderness, abode, alone. See stripes of pineapple, followed with hot jalapenos, stays, rides, wakes up in the middle of the night, wild-eyed, bright, bleary from the car ride, sugar pie, starlight. Stay with me tonight? Is that all right? Waverly hands and rising tides sweep into the night. Went converse to transverse the terrain, wide running stretches and flopping breaks to catch breaths. Funny how the place you find reminds you of grandfather's home. Inside, rolling down hills on barrel vaults, seeks the reason why we woke up and played until dawn burst to illuminate the day, this day, today, and weave the rest of our lives to go. Starlight 64. Between soberness and insanity, there are no superheroes tonight. Consider me a library for my thoughts. Past a cup of tea, of carrots and apples for eating, I have found a new lover. Her name is Spring. She mixes summer's heat with the linear residual of winter, lost in time, ready for the thunder, prequels, longing for what happens next. Unvital ailed, as if academic has swept the nation and taken we with it, buried in the sand. She said, solitary, confined, numb seems to be the new way of feeling alive. Laster alabaster. Wishes of almost alabaster skin tone, washed white, ocean spray, red wines, in love with your luster, sandwiching together fierce and beautiful, left living again in the post-apocalypse era without a chance or a fear, only streams, threads, interconnectivity, themes, motifs have been written into this new lack of silks and stockings. Distant memories. This whole city feels like ghosts. Trelly Fusion. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? Or if I do this, it does that. Did you see that? Is that me just being crazy? It's like there's. Yeah, someone was making hearts, so I made hearts back at them, but then it just like made hearts. That's fancy. Oh. Now we're having a rave. I feel like someone that discovered the cat memes for the first. Look, there's buttons. I don't know why I'm a cat. I'm not a cat. I am a cat. To me, you never entered my life, and you never left. When I met you, it was just a casual thing. I wasn't too excited, but I just walked in and said hi. Nice to meet you in person after all these years of passing art. But it felt like casual passing, not like lusting after a love passing. And when you left, I knew you wouldn't be gone, but now it has begun to be a long time. I feel like you're still within me, a ghost lover, a reminder of creative fusion, of chasing dreams. That tactile renderings aren't the same as digital, and that they have more initial and end power, that all is transcendental, that art does conquer all, that art is love, art is feeling, art is being alive, that I am still alive, even in this aftermath, after mess. I am still alive. We are all one person, and we are creativity. In my others, we unite and we untie and retwine back to lover letters easily again. Man, that is almost a tongue twister. Why is there a hot dog? Might I turn the air conditioning on? Is it that hot? I think it's nice. It's hot. It's Christmas Eve. Who needs air conditioning? Come on, guys. We should be so thankful for this warm weather. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, thanks for all the thumbs ups. Oh, wait. Is my computer gonna like freak out and do that again? I kind of want to flip off the computer just to see what would happen since it's getting all reactive now. If you're calling go here. When I remember this time when life used to be much more exciting than movies or TVs, when living was the highest high we could reach, where I was the girl puking in the street. I'm old now. Old is not an age, but rather a phase. Old is who you surround yourself with, and what they do, and what you do, and what both of you do together. I'm not that pretty rave girl anymore. I'm not a tiny dancer. My summer skin is shed, and now it's August. I know we thought these times would never end, but they did. One more look, one more glance. We can't make this last excerpt wrapped in history's page. Cell phone or shooting stars? Technology almost held my gaze, past the parting center stage of God's universe as they shot a shooting star falling by the river's way, but almost missed, for the cell phone had held glued eyeballs, but thankful they escaped to save the star from being unwatched by technology's gaze. Rules to live by. Advice from yourself. This is what I should be doing. Be an explorer of the world. Be slow. Analyze. Think of everything as research. Be easily inspired. Run with ideas. Be wild. Don't stop believing. Don't quit caring. Invest yourself into your surroundings, into the people around you. Put your cell phone down. Think about life. Think about love. Think about thinking. Don't be afraid of anything except scary things. Be cautious, but don't ever let it stop you from doing and experiencing. into regression and thirst for bubbly water. Increasing levels of sadness, layering into depression as singleness becomes more prevalent, invasive. When used to drives of only into town visits, with promises of errands on the ride home, in search of economy, efficiency, modified to the idea of driving to another town to meet someone, seemed pushing the boundaries, but come a few months, and driving 200 miles to meet a new face seems sane. Constant backlash into regression and thirst for bubbly water, beating up relentlessly every time me drive, solo car, show, running life alone, underpass and underdress, liquid rolling down, no pain. Another word for repetition. Once blank in the summer. Guilt deepens. With him, I cracked my binge of abstinence. Instant plague of longing, forever pulling me. For weeks, more than 3, I became your stalker. Long, hard, lusting after you. Obsession. Until then, the night we figured out how to get him home, when we were all too drunk to drive. The night of drinking expensive beers, tasters all night, and resin, until I had a kiss where he let me decide what I wanted and didn't push for anything more. Then simultaneous phone calls as I pulled onto the road and he said, "Let's go to Grandy Ice's. Is that you who just pulled out behind me?" When I smoked and broke back into the things I never used to let fill my time, when wondering and silence became the norm, when I found he was missing, when I increased my obsessive 3 times a day ringing to voicemail to every time I touched my phone, when I knew he was gone, when I saw colors in the night sky, when I fell asleep on the table and the sound of their voices jolted me back, when I fell asleep again, to the comfort of men talking to one another for the reason that they enjoy each other's company next to the fire in my blankets. To the still dark sky splitting into entirely too many to be possible colors, then woke to extreme heat of the morning sun and the wetness of damp's dew cling. I knew he was gone. Excuse me. Excuse me. He finally called me at work. He sounded like he had been drugged, pessimistic. I took him outside. He'd found a woman. He was moving away from our towns. I couldn't have him. Nothing I would say would make it any different. And I asked him a few more things to find he had lied to me again and again and again and again and again, and more after that, and still more. I wouldn't know until later. But this time, my trust wasn't broken in humanity, only him, because he had already taken trust from me before, and he couldn't do it again. Humanity, innocence, and trust still live, but trust in him is no more forever. Not to quit trusting people, but rather to rid my life of him and all his ways, to not spread rumors, what I call the truth about him, but to say we don't talk anymore, not to spend any more time saying blank you and I hate you and being upset at him in my head, or candidly with friends, but to ban him to a story. He is my fairy tale. He is my prince. He is fiction. I have written him in as so, something no longer, a clean cut from reality into pages. It only makes perfect sense for a lie to be fiction. right now. I'm the girl who has never been on a blank escapade with someone who doesn't have blue eyes, even girls, and has never been to Ohio. Quinto Shinto. To be continued. It continues to continue continuously as it continues. Hip love, iconic imagery. I spent the day making love to myself. An iconic dance, an ironic dance of exotic gestures that in poetic form, ballerina tank top with lacy underwear, skin-colored camisole, and gray stocking feet, we whirled around the whirl, dancing our hip-loving beats. On singleism, you are my sunshine, my escapism, my horror story, and romantics. I stay up all night laughing, just looking at you. My eyes don't dart away, unless to the singularity of interruption, something from the real world of human interaction, or just another incoming spam email. Netflix, YouTube, and the abyss of internet cataclysms. Cataclysms. And I'm not so alone anymore. I can forget the self victimization that everyone else brought to me, a celibacy vow. But not even that anymore. It's been reduced to a side of me that only lingers long enough to pick the leaves, then leaves with a sigh of resignedness to sleeping alone, or not sleeping at all, of staying up until 2 a.m. for none other's fault than my own, to pursuing the internet, to taking up coding, to exercising every time I feel alone. Maybe I don't leave the gym anymore. To boundless free time, the answers to the obsessive quest of never thinking I would be able to have time. Dumb down all your friends, boyfriends, girlfriends, clubs, and activities. Most all TV, movies, series, whatever they call them now. Not to make until it's all gone, until you've nothing more to make, until you've reverted to childhood because you were bored, because your brain can't keep up with your free time, and now it becomes reduced to staying up all night with the Wi-Fi by your side. Another verb, thirsty. A repressed obsession, a degenerative concept, shunned in the eyes of others and causing shame. Dang, you with the bloodlust sounds pretty adorable. For them to breach the subject's content. But here it was, stronger than ever, bloodlust. But now, that is all there is to stay up at night. A motif of life that birth control had reduced to brown spots, and from before I had a few faint scars and several incriminating photographs. Rules to live by. Michigan Manifesto. Exercising, like creativity. The more you do, the easier it is to keep doing it. Keep an innocent side inside of me, something a touch unexplainable, but a clean slate every time anything new is brought forth. Excuse me. Excuse me. I am modified by the environment, positively or negatively, but now I have learned to keep an inner indulgence. A blissed out version of me that keeps her cool. She's affected by the environment, but can also take it in and puke it back out. Blank you. If they aren't helping or inspiring, get them out of your life. Just keep putting works out. Love of listening to other people, for them to sustain my thought patterns, to keep me out of my obsessive, looping brain, to stay rooted in the now, in their talking. Of being in a moment, fresh, renewed, frigid, spatial confusion. Isn't there a tree I'm under? No, I'm on a frozen lake, Euphoria being the first sign. Finding your best self. Get blanking ballsy. Quit thinking about what other people think of you. Nothing gets done unless someone is doing it. Do it. Stop the self loathing and self infliction. Nope, no heartbreak, just over. Action baked nowism based. Detachment. Stay broad and ministry. Quit falling for people so fast. Be more thankful for everything. Appreciate more. Look at the things with refreshed eyes. Get a head changed by leaving, by drug inducing, by being around new people, by being refreshed, by being uncomfortable. Do not have blank here. Or do. Who cares? Do you? Be yourself. Find out who you are when you're alone and when surrounded by multitudes of different friends. Be cool. Be in the winter. It is not that cold outside. Put a blanking jacket on and go outside. Rejuvenate. Mix it up. Stop. Go. Stop. Start. Pop. Tired. Fall in and out and not overwhelmed into by people. Remember yourself and morals in challenged situations. Finger some dude's blank hole. Oh, I forgot that was on there. Okay. Laugh about it. Lighten up. Do you know that my last boyfriend was over a year ago? How did that happen? Be wild. Be inspired. Say I love you to everyone instead of one person. Do not lay in bed all day and hate your life because you're the one laying in bed all day. Leave the cell phone and Facebook screens alone. Do your blank, art blank. Put it out there. Don't get stuck on the past. Don't fall in love with anyone immediately. It isn't real and it isn't worth it. You are falling in love with yourself by seeing your commonalities. You're making yourself miserable by living in your head. You don't need a dude. You're blanking amazing. Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team. Experience in the moment. Live in it. Love in it. Let it be. And let it pass if need be. The real world that exists outside of the internet. Stand up for yourself. Quit being bored. Say yes to everything. Say yes to the experience. Don't question happiness. Yes. Yes. I'm getting barked at. Yeah, I am. Hang on. Wait. Ugh, hang on 1 sec. 1 second. Just a second. Okay, let's go outside. Let's go outside. She-ing. Sugar-pack addicts sitting on her father's roof and letting themselves out. Become one with the rain. Slow. Letting good glow. Afternoon spent on the mattress, tossed on the floor. Sure, I'd seen this hallway before. In a blank, white male being, finger blanking herself to coming, but we wouldn't have. We wished of, but no knowledge of how to begin. Your body language held its own to me. Something boys, though, could not see. Do not touch, but it spoke to me. It spoke in terms of curves and craters, spaces for finger invaders. Long lust, longing for kisses, collarbone, caressing, but never would we ever, because how I subtly understood an initiation of touch, the reciprocity wasn't, but which said stop. To others, it didn't so much. Empty pages and loneliness. Come and go. I can't tell you where you are from, where I've been. All this coming back again. My revolving door of men. Images lay out the way I've spent my days, time investments, which stages throughout the pages, but I'm spent, left leaning on the fence. Middle ground isn't as high as it used to be, left only with obscurity. She said she hopes I keep my openness, to not become jaded by the saddeningness. Saved in a digital file, saved for eternity to test the trial. I'll move you to the cloud so the files won't be buried underground. But that is all I have left from this empty pages and loneliness. After blanks, I found warm clothes to adorn. Excuse me. While treading waves through painted blanks, dredging much through each power to reclaim a who couldn't longer do. Isn't it? Everything is okay as long as you are on the next high, the next big thing, still on the chase, the moment. All you are going for is that one moment where everything collides into a cosmic revolution where you feel alive. But then it parts and fades away until you are left with nothing but a memory, and a memory not being anything to hold on to anymore. Because of transience and passing, never there, or maybe it was, and then we are off onto the next, higher than high. As long as I wanted, as long as I'm wet, as long as we keep talking, as long as things feel good, as long as we can keep this going, as long as I'm drunk, as long as I can't feel the pain, as long as we can keep touching things and calling them our beings. But then it stops. The world crumble down, one on top of the next, until they become tormenting airs, until they cause a cease to be in my ever-changing entity, until the storybook folds in its last page. We have to start back at where reality lies, and it does lie. Reality is a lie on top of a lie, folded into a lie, while all my friends sit side by side and lie, lie, lie. Studio apartment, a room of one's own, connecting memories and moments. Afterwards, he has a perfectly constructed poem that just comes out like the blank does. This seems like the why of forever. So long, Soho. Cutting and cuddling on the couch, slapping me into this moment, spanking me into reality. Be here now, alive, hurt, but only to feel again. Persistence, awareness, falling asleep on top of you. Do you remember what it feels like to hold hands? Your turn. Stolen, questioning what we did. Happy 22nd and a half birthday. No hair cascade back. Someone needs to tell me to take over my own life. Come home shirtless, because you were allowed to be. From driving the New York night, projects and minute-long exposures. green light, colored rain, and squared pixels that turned to curving lines across my body. No longer afraid of the bloodiness, talking openly, even tampering with the idea of leaving a tampon in view just to prove it's okay. Natural, organic, bloody lust. Tea. And then it was my turn. I told him to take his clothes off and lay on the wooden floor on his belly, much like he had told me earlier. Then I waited, building the tension, allowing his mind to tantalize him before I did. Then I left. I returned with a plastic bag. I put it over his head and taped it in place after poking a breathing hole. He asked if I was serious. I told him to shut up. I cuffed him, tied him up and down, then after 20 minutes, decided I didn't like it. The chair. He was loose. I stood the chair, facing out the window, and told him to sit. He asked to have the lights out. The neighbors would see. I asked if he was questioning my judgment. He said no, but begged for privacy. I moved it a few inches in between the windows, in front of the mirror. Gotta have to get by the book if you want to hear that one. It's another page or so left of that, but it's going to be private. Skeptics. I am a temptation, yet I deliver from evil. Or maybe I've flirted with evil, but beauty and I did have a child, not having any trust being the root of all, but the blind trust being a downfall. Where is the balance, the bang of semi-trucks, resentment already of subway cars, reminiscent, never knowing for sure, knowing no truth at all. The godlessness in blank, how it becomes your whole being, unknowing and addiction, the obsession over the feeling, the coming, again and again, and holding the memory in place just to get to the next climax into being, until it all stops, until there's balance, until there's indulgence and freedom and youth and exploration, layered seamlessly into responsibility, honesty, truth, skepticism. abandoned person. Hello. I think they're for sale on Barnes and Nobles. There's a lot of other places. I call it expanded distribution. I put them on one platform, which is sort of through Amazon. It's Kindle. It used to be called CreateSpace, and it just like pushes them out. So like you could probably technically buy them on eBay, but be careful of the price because someone else has them like listed as like a third party thing. Or you could just buy them from me. Like just if you're on Instagram or Facebook or something, just send me a message and tell me who you are and that you want to buy a book and like Cash App, Venmo, that kind of thing, and maybe PayPal. Maybe kind of hate PayPal. Oh, the juiciest. I think this one's kind of the saddest right now. Well, I'm actually working on one. This is the one I'm reading from right now. That's where there was the bit of juice. Yeah. 10 Sexy Stories to Tell in the Dark is probably the like straight up juiciest one, but it's not very poetic. It's more like short story. And then honestly, the ones I'm doing with Christian Pan are very juicy. So yeah, very very juicy, not very poetry-y, but that's okay sometimes. Although I like poems. Although I don't know, the last one's pretty. There might be like 10 that are very juicy in the last poetry book, which is A Blank Page. So I just went in and found one. I was like, oh, I need to put that one in this little thing. What if? What if only? What if I only go through life living like I've already lived, seeing things I've already seen? My entity becomes nostalgia. Will I become an abandoned person? Will I become a person without a harbor, without a hand to hold on to? What if I become afraid? What if I become caged? What if my hair gets so dreaded from being drunk on my sides? What if nothing is a rut anymore, but only the path of life? What if volatility and change are what get me off, get me on, keep me pounding through the drive? What if static is the new word for fully alive? What if I've already given up? I'm already there. What if it isn't enough? What if nothing would ever be? Would we even try? Or are we already dead, at least in mind? All right, I'm gonna be back. Or message me on the P platform. P-A-T. Respect. Well-balanced meal of a person. Although looking both ways before you cross the street and being home each night to brush your teeth, off to catch the moon before sleep, may seem like a good, citizenly thing to do. They cause insanity. Racing trains down railways, zooming to 60 in a motor car, and a sense of reckless abandonment create a well-balanced meal of a person. Just wait to add travel to the diet. All right, this next one's long, so I think I'm going to call it here. I've been really loving this extremely long, marathon live streaming session, but my voice is so shot. So I'm gonna go be quiet. Thanks for joining me. Maybe we'll do this again. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Could happen. Good night.